Hannibal Barca, the man Rome could not kill. They thought the Alps would stop him. They believed snow, cliffs, hunger, and fear would crush his ambition before Rome ever had to lift a sword. They were wrong. Before Hannibal Barca became Rome's greatest nightmare, before his name was whispered in terror across Italy, before senators woke in the night hearing his footsteps in their dreams, he was a child standing beside a sacrificial altar, making a promise that would reshape history. A promise of hatred, a promise of war, a promise that Rome would never be safe again. This is the story of Hannibal Barca, not just a general, not just a commander, but a force of destiny that marched across mountains, shattered legions, and brought the greatest empire on earth to its knees. Hannibal was born into war. His father, Hamilcar Barca, was Carthage's fiercest general during the First Punic War. While Rome expanded relentlessly, Carthage bled. Defeated but unbroken, Hamilcar refused to accept Roman dominance. To him, Rome was not a rival, it was an enemy that had to be destroyed or endured forever. When Hannibal was still a boy, Hamilcar took him to an altar. There, under sacred flame and ancient gods, the child placed his hand upon the sacrifice and swore an oath. He swore eternal hatred against Rome. Not temporary resistance, not political rivalry, hatred until death. That oath would guide every decision Hannibal made and cost hundreds of thousands of lives. After the war, Carthage turned west to rebuild power in Iberia. Hamilcar led the campaign, carving out a new empire through force, diplomacy, and fear. Hannibal followed, learning not from scrolls, but from blood-soaked battlefields. He learned how armies move, how morale breaks, how terrain kills faster than swords, how patience wins wars before battles begin. When Hamilcar died, command passed briefly to Hasdrubal the Fair, but destiny waited for Hannibal. At just 26 years old, Hannibal was chosen by the army as commander in Iberia. He was young, dangerously young, but already hardened beyond his years. Rome watched carefully. They sensed the storm approaching. The spark came at Saguntum. Saguntum was allied with Rome, but lay south of the Ebro River, territory Rome had agreed was under Carthaginian influence. Hannibal understood what Rome wanted: provocation, an excuse, a justification for war, so he gave it to them. Hannibal laid siege to Saguntum with relentless precision. For 8 months the city resisted. Hunger devoured the people. Hope collapsed into desperation. When the walls finally fell, Saguntum burned. Rome demanded Hannibal be handed over. Carthage refused. War was inevitable. But Hannibal would not fight it on Rome's terms. He would bring war to Italy itself. The Mediterranean offered an obvious route by sea, and Rome controlled it. Hannibal chose the impossible path instead. North, through hostile tribes, across frozen rivers, over the Alps, a route no army had ever crossed with elephants. Hannibal marched anyway. The journey was hell. Tribes ambushed from cliffs, supplies vanished, horses slipped into ravines, men froze in the night, never to wake again. Snow blinded soldiers who had never seen winter. And yet Hannibal pressed forward. When morale faltered, he rode among the men. When fear spread, he promised glory. When exhaustion threatened collapse, he reminded them of Rome. By the time the army emerged into Italy, nearly half were dead. But those who survived were transformed. They had crossed death itself. Rome was unprepared. They expected Hannibal to fight in Spain or Africa, not in the heart of Italy. Panic spread as reports arrived. A Carthaginian army, led by a general who defied nature, was marching south. Rome assembled legions. Hannibal destroyed them. At the Battle of the Ticinus River, Hannibal's cavalry outmaneuvered Roman forces with shocking ease. Soon after, at the Trebia River, Hannibal set his first masterpiece. He lured the Romans into icy waters at dawn, weakened and shivering, while hidden forces struck from behind. The Roman legions collapsed under the weight of surprise and superior tactics. Rome was stunned, but they still believed they could crush him. The next year, Hannibal delivered terror. Near Lake Trasimene, he prepared one of the deadliest ambushes in military history. Mist clung to the hills, visibility vanished, Roman forces marched blindly between water and slopes. Hannibal waited. When the trap closed, chaos erupted. Roman soldiers were slaughtered where they stood, many driven into the lake to drown under armor and panic. An entire army ceased to exist in hours. Rome had never known defeat like this. The city froze in fear. In desperation, Rome appointed a dictator, Quintus Fabius Maximus. Fabius refused battle. Instead, he shadowed Hannibal, cutting supply lines, burning crops, denying him resources. It was slow, humiliating, unpopular, but it worked. Hannibal could not force a decisive engagement. Rome grew impatient. They abandoned Fabius. That decision would cost them everything. At Cannae, Rome assembled the largest army it had ever fielded, nearly 80,000 men. They intended to crush Hannibal in one overwhelming blow. Hannibal welcomed them. Outnumbered, outmatched in infantry, Hannibal arranged his forces in a subtle curve, deliberately weak at the center. As Roman legions surged forward, they pushed the Carthaginian center back. Then Hannibal closed the jaws. His wings enveloped the Romans from both sides. Cavalry sealed the rear. The Roman army was surrounded, compressed, suffocated. There was no escape. Men died standing, unable to swing swords. Blood soaked the earth. Screams merged into silence. By sunset, Rome had lost over 50,000 soldiers. Cannae was not just a defeat, it was annihilation. After Cannae, the path to Rome lay open. Cities defected, allies betrayed the Republic, Rome's grip on Italy weakened. And yet, Hannibal did not march on Rome. Historians would argue this decision for centuries. Some called it restraint, some called it caution, some called it his greatest mistake. But Hannibal understood siege warfare. He lacked equipment, he lacked reinforcements, he lacked certainty. Rome still had one weapon left: endurance. For years, Hannibal remained in Italy, undefeated, unchallenged, unstoppable, and slowly isolated. Rome avoided direct battle. They rebuilt armies. They attacked Carthaginian allies. They cut Hannibal off from support. Meanwhile, in Spain, Rome struck hard. Hannibal's brothers fell one by one. Reinforcements never arrived. The war turned. Rome sent a new commander to Africa, Scipio. He attacked Carthage itself. The Senate recalled Hannibal home. For the first time in years, Italy breathed again.